Hey everyone, we are back with another bookish vlog. So what I thought I'd do today is go over everything I read in January and my February TBR. This is just gonna be kind of a probably monthly thing that I do, like for my own just record keeping, I guess, and because I love to share what I'm reading. So I'm gonna jump right in, but a couple things first. One, if I read any like books in a series this month, I'm going to talk about them all at once. I'm not going to split them up in like, okay, I read book 1 and 2 and then I read something else and then I went on to book 3. I'm just going to talk about them all together. The other thing that I am going to talk about is I'm saving my best book of January for the end, and I'll tell you why. But anyway, let's get into the January reading. I started January with 8 books on my to be read list, and looking back, it's so funny. I thought, wow, am I going to be able to read 8 books in a month? And I finished the month having read 16. So yes, I can. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, I had some time off. 2, we had that big snowstorm, which resulted in some more time off, and it's just been kind of a cold, yucky month, and all I've wanted to do is read. So 16 books, I feel like that's pretty impressive. And I also have to say, it was a good reading month. I'm looking at my list, and I only have 1 book that I did not finish. So, and I don't have anything lower than 4 stars. So yeah, great, really great month. I'm very impressed with myself. So, okay, let's get started with the first book I read in January was Shady Hollow, and this is by Juno Black. And these are just fun, cute, like easy little cozy murder mysteries. So this takes place in Shady Hollow, hence the name, and all of the characters are animals. And it is just so cute. It's a quick read, it's easy, it's cozy. I really loved this book. This is one of those that I did breeze through it, but as I said, it's an easy read, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's entertaining. Really loved this book. So much that I ordered the second, and it is Cold Clay. Same premise. Vera Vixen is the main character. She is a fox, and she's a reporter and an amateur sleuth. So the stories are kind of all about her trying to solve these murder mysteries that happen in Shady Hollow. So I read these 2, and I'm going to talk about the next couple books when we get to February. What did I read next? This was another, my ratings for both of those. Shady Hollow I gave 5 stars, and Cold Clay I gave 4. I did like Shady Hollow, the first one, more than Cold Clay. Okay. Next, this was a gift from my mom for Christmas, so good job, Mom. But it is What the River Knows, Isabel Ibanez, and this was a 5-star read for me. This is so good. It is so good that I read it and immediately went to the library and checked out the second book, which is Where the Library Hides. Wow, 5 stars on this one. 4 stars on Where the Library Hides. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So this book is, Inez is the main character, and she lives in Argentina, and her parents are, how do I say this? They live mainly full-time in Egypt, and they are searching for Cleopatra's tomb. And she gets a letter that her parents have disappeared, and the story kind of takes off from there. So good. I really, really, really liked this book. I've always been kind of really fascinated with like Egypt and Cleopatra and, you know, that whole thing. So I think that was, you know, part of where my interest in these books came from. But yeah, these were fantastic. 5 stars on this one, 4 stars on Where the Library Hides. Next, I read First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I'd had this on my TBR for a long time. I had it on hold at the library, and I just never, I kept like pushing it back because I didn't think I would be like that interested in it. And I had other stuff I wanted to read. This is about Evie Porter, and she has a secret. Evie Porter doesn't exist. I liked this book. I didn't love it. I think it might have gotten a little bit of an unfair judgment because it was the first book I read right after the book of the month for me. So it was okay. It was good. I didn't love it. Would I say read it? Yeah, sure. It's not one that I'm going to like rant and rave about because it just, I mean, it was fine. It was good. There was nothing wrong with it. I gave it 4 stars. It had a lot of twists and turns. I was kind of expecting one of them, but then there were some others that I was like, whoa. So it was definitely a psychological thriller. So, 4 stars on that one. Then I read Go as a River by Shelley Reed. 5 stars. That book was amazing. I did get a little bored in the middle just because I felt like there was a lot of, I don't want to say fluff because I don't feel like it was fluff, but the middle did kind of drag a little bit, but the beginning and the end I did really enjoy. So 5 stars on that one. Let's see, what's a little synopsis of that one. So it takes place in Colorado, and Victoria is the main character. She lives on a peach farm, and she meets a young man just by chance one day, and it's kind of the story how one decision changes your whole life. So 5 stars on that one. Really, really loved it. Oh gosh. Then I get into, I was not intending to read these, but I kept hearing about them and I thought I better check it out in case I'm missing something. And boy, was I. So I read the Mile High series. And of course I started with Mile High. And let me just say, Evan Zanders will live rent-free in my head forever. Forever. Yeah, I love him. So I read Mile High, which is the first book, The Right Move, which is the second, Caught Up, which is number 3, and Play Along number 4. Rio's Story, the 5th book, is coming out I think in May, so I'm super excited to read that. I am going to say I did really enjoy the stories on these. They are spicy, so I'm not really sure how to like rate spice, but I would say it's like at least 4 or 5 chili peppers. Okay, like they're spicy, so like teenagers should not be reading these, in my opinion. But in order of which book I liked the most, I'm gonna have to go Right Move. No, sorry. I'm gonna have to say Mile High, Play Along. Okay, Mile High, Stevie and Xanders, Play Along, Isaiah and Kennedy, The Right Move, Ryan and Indy, and then Caught Up, Kai and Miller. I couldn't stand Miller. I did not like her. I did not like anything about her. So that book kind of irritated me reading through that one. I did not like it. And plus, her calling him baseball daddy, no. So 5 stars on Mile High, 4 stars on Right Move, 4 stars on Caught Up. I did still like it. I'm not going to give it 3 stars. It's not that bad. And then I gave Play Along 5 stars. And as I said, I cannot wait for Rio's book to come out in May. Let's see, what did I read next? Oh, this was a good one too. One Dark Window. This is by Rachel Gillig. And this has like a very gothic vibe to it. So Elspeth Spindle is the main character, and God, how do I even explain this book? Okay, she has like a voice inside her head, and she calls him the Nightmare. And there's magic in this book. There's fantasy. She meets a mysterious highwayman on the road, and her life kind of takes a turn. So honestly, okay, I'm gonna be honest. The first like 2 chapters, I think, maybe 3, I was like, oh my God, I can't. Let me not say that. I'm reading, I'm looking. Okay, the first 18 pages. When I got to page 19, I was not into it until then. I guess that's not really a lot. It felt like a lot while I was trying to read those first 18 pages that I was not interested in. But then, like, when I got past that, I devoured this book. It kind of gave me the Broken Heart series that I really love. I've talked about that book, that series. I can't remember which video, but I'll link it. But it kind of gave me that vibes. So 5 stars on this one. Really, really liked it. And I have this, no spoilers. All right, what was next? Oh, The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This book really disappointed me. It really did. This sounds like a book that I would be like super into. So the main character, he wakes up every night or every day in the body of a different guest, and he has to solve the murder of Evelyn Hardcastle. Yeah, I don't know what it was about this book, but I just could not. I think I made it, let's see. I read this on my Kindle and I made it to 25%. And I couldn't continue anymore. It was just, I couldn't do it. I did not like it. I couldn't tell you why. I just didn't like it. I don't know. There was just something about it that didn't vibe with me. So I'm not going to force myself to finish reading something that I don't like. Next, The Song of Achilles. Beautiful book. Beautiful. I only gave it 4 stars because I did get a little bored. I get the hype and then I don't get the hype. So this is like a modern telling of, I think it's the Iliad. So it follows Achilles and Patroclus. Patroclus, I hope I'm saying that right, is like the main character. Patroclus, let me see. It tells you how to pronounce it in the book. Anyway, I'm not gonna go back and look at yeah, it's powerful and it's beautiful. It did get a little boring. It kind of dragged on and on. But I did enjoy the book. I would definitely say put it on your list if you haven't read it. It's definitely worth a read. All right, the next 2 I read on my Kindle, and I read How to Solve Your Own Murder, which is the Castle Knoll Files #1. It's by Kristen Perrin. 4 stars on this one. It did keep me entertained, and I didn't quite guess the ending, but the premise was what really intrigued me. So, Annie has to, she lives in London. She's going to Castle Knoll because her great aunt Frances has called her there for a meeting. When she gets there, she finds out great aunt Frances is found dead in her home. And so what happens is great aunt Frances says in her will that the first person to solve her murder inherits her estate. So it's all about Annie trying to solve the murder. I did really enjoy this book. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't a 5-star read for me, but it was still a good one, and I did enjoy it. I read through it pretty quickly. 2-3 days, I think. So, good one. I would recommend reading this one. The last book before I get to my book of the month was One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. I sped through this one. This was a really good book. I gave it 4 stars, and this is about Lila and Nico, and they get, well, Nico really, gets picked to go on this reality show called One Perfect Couple, and it takes place on a deserted island, and there's 4 other couples, typical reality type, reality TV type of premise. And it turns into it's a thriller, and I guess a little bit of a murder mystery. It's not really a whodunit, which you get what I mean if you've read this book. But anyway, this book, oh my gosh, I did like it. But I haven't read a book in a long time where I could literally feel my heart beating when it got to the climax or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, yeah, I could literally feel my heart beating and I was so scared reading that book, and I haven't felt that way about a book in a long time. So 4 stars on this one. This is another one that I had on my hold list at the library for a long time, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off, and I finally decided, you know what, I'm gonna read it, and I'm so glad I did. Okay, we are here. We are at the best book of January 2025, and I will hear no slander on this book because I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed. I've recommended it to so many people, and it is All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. This book is everything. It is so good. It's a long one. It's 592 pages, and though I sped through, I can't say much about this book other than it is truly a masterpiece. I freaking love this book. I cried and I cried and I laughed, and it was really interestingly written because it starts out, the main characters are 13 and the story is told over several decades. So it's a little hard to keep track of their age, but really just, oh my God, it's so good. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to read this again. But it's the story of Saint and Patch, and Patch saves a girl who is, I guess, in the process of being kidnapped, which sets off the whole story. So, oh my God, read this book. Okay, how do I say this without being snobby? If you are a spicy book reader, you will not like this because it has none of that. But if you are a reader, like me, I read any genre. I don't care what it is, other than nonfiction. I don't care for that. But if you are any book reader, you just want to read something good, Lily. Anyway, if you just want to read something good, put this on your list. Short chapters. Some of them are even a page. I think the longest one, maybe 4 or 5 pages. But yeah, they are, I absolutely love this. This is 1,000 stars out of 5. This is so good. I love this book. Best. This truly might even be the book of the year for me. Almost everything has paled in comparison to this book. Let's get into my February TBR. It is February 1st, so I have started one of these books, and that is Mirror Lake, the 3rd Shady Hollow book series. I am 17 pages in. I just started this last night. I cheated a little bit. It was still January 31st, but I wanted to read. So I'll be reading this and letting you know what I think. But so far, so good. I just really love these. These are so easy, they're so cozy, and they just make you feel good. And I like that. I need that. Next, okay, I'm gonna go through my physical books first and then my Kindle books. So next we have, I'm almost ashamed about this because I trashed it in my mid-year review book, I think. A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna give it one more shot and we'll see what happens. We will see. I don't know, I'm not promising anything, but I'm gonna give it another shot. Oh, excited about this one. 7 Year Slip, Ashley Polston. I've heard really good things about this book, so I'm excited to read it. And apparently it's another one that will make me cry, so great. Melania. I'm really excited to read this book. I think Melania is a fascinating person, and I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm just really excited to read this. Plus, I think she is, what does she speak, like 5 languages or 7 or something like that? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this book. I think not only is she gorgeous, but I do think she's a very interesting person. So, looking forward to this one as well. But you know what? I have one comment. I would not have gone with this like matte cover because as you can see, fingerprints, everything, I wouldn't have done that. But God, is that a gorgeous book or what? Then we have Emily Henry, Funny Story. I know this came out, I think, early 2024, but I haven't read it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I love Emily Henry, big Emily Henry fan, and I'm really looking forward to her new book, Great Big Beautiful Life. I think that comes out in April, maybe? But I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, Kindle books. What do we have? Two Twisted Crowns, which is the Shepherd King series, second book. So we'll be reading that. No Place Left to Hide, Megan Lally. We'll be reading that. I do want to start the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. So I have The Deal on my February 2025 list. Only in Your Dreams, which is the Oakwood Bay series #1 by Ellie K. Wilde, is on my list. Bridesmaid for Hire, Megan Quinn. That is another first book in a series. And is that it? Wow, we're already at the end. The last one I have on my list is Boyfriend Material, Alexis Hall. So that is my reads from January 2025, what I'll be reading in February, and let me know what you think. If you guys have read any of these books, if you haven't, maybe if you're interested in one, if I told you about one you thought you'd like, yeah, let me know. But I will see you in a month for another bookish video.